There's so many important things going on in this country right now. We'll need all 3 hours, probably 10 hours, but we only get 3. Welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us. What if I were to tell you that Kamala Harris, who feigns no responsibility for the border, and yet is always the last person that Biden speaks to, and yet, according to Biden, embraces and reflects her policies? What if I were to tell you the same Kamala Harris who said the border is secure? What if I were to tell you that under Harris and Biden, what if I were to tell you that 425,431 convicted criminals, 222,141 with pending criminal charges, have been let out of prisons all over the world and are now walking freely in the United States of America? We don't know who they are. We don't know where they are. Ladies and gentlemen, that's almost 700,000 convicted criminals or those with pending criminal charges from the third world, from the Far East, from the Middle East, from south of the border, from Western Europe, from Eastern Europe, from Africa, from every corner of the world. Almost 700,000 convicted criminals or those with pending criminal charges. You want to hear the specifics? And they weren't planning on releasing this prior to the election. Give credit to Tony Gonzalez, Republican of Texas, who demanded information from ICE. And somehow it got loose. This is as of July 2024, as a matter of fact. And I want you to remember, Kamala Harris said she would eliminate every single detention center on day one, which means you wouldn't hold anybody for any amount of time. They come in the country and they're released. And remember what else she said. They're not criminals. Remember what else she said. Don't call them illegal aliens. And on the pathway to citizenship, convicted criminals, pending criminal charges, 700,000 are walking our country, our cities, our towns. Ladies and gentlemen, this is beyond an impeachable offense. This isn't an act of nature. This is an act, an affirmative, intentional, purposeful act undertaken by a regime that hates America, by a regime that hates you. You Democrats out there who go into the booth or seal your envelopes. Google Gaga, I'm voting Democrat, I'm voting Democrat. Do you understand that these murderers and these rapists, they don't give a damn if you're a Democrat or not? Let's break it down. It gets ugly. 13,099 of these people are convicted murderers. We have 13,099 convicted murderers, aliens, foreigners, convicted in their own country, let out by their country, sent to this country, from Venezuela, from Nicaragua, and 100 other countries, sent to this country, who are roaming our streets. 15,811 have sexual assault convictions. Sexual assault convictions. Another almost 2,000 with pending homicide charges, 42,915 with assault charges, almost 3,300 with burglary charges, and over 4,200 with assault charges as well. This is what they've done. Almost 57,000 with drug convictions. But over 13,000 convicted murderers have been let into this country through the open border. Almost 16,000 sexual assault convictions have been let into this country. Now, I want you to think about this. Criminally convicted murderers. Now, Kamala Harris is going to the border. She's going to get a picture. She's behind on immigration on the issue all over the country. She's going to wave around this bipartisan bill. It turns out, as I did more research, not a single Republican in the House, one Senate Republican supported this bill. They call it bipartisan. She waves it around. The media haven't read it. She hasn't read it. That bill enshrines under federal law 95% of what's going on right now. Catch and release in America. So all these criminals would still be in the country. Pathway to citizenship. Massive amnesty. Allowing up to 5,000 illegal aliens every day. Who's ever heard of that, by the way? Oh, we're going to allow 5,000, almost 2 million a year. And that doesn't include gotaways, which account for another 500,000 a year. Your tax dollars, you can't afford food, you can't afford gasoline, you can't afford rent, you can't afford the mortgage, inflation through the roof, interest rates through the roof. You are going to pay for lawyers, for illegal aliens, to challenge deportation, which means we'll never be able to get rid of them. This is all in this phony bipartisan bill. Sanctuary cities will receive billions of dollars. Sanctuary states will receive billions of dollars. That's what's in the bill. It's an amnesty bill. It's not a border security bill. There's almost nothing in there for the border. And to the extent there's money in there for security in the border, as de minimis as it isn't spent until 2028. Almost 5 damn years from now. And so she waves it around. I will sign this on day one. Bipartisan legislation. And the media go along with it. Why? Because they're illiterate. Why? Because they're radical leftists too. You don't import convicted murderers. You don't import convicted rapists, child molesters. You don't import people like that. That's not what immigration is for. Historically, immigration is to bring the best of societies into this country in an orderly fashion. People who are going to assimilate into our society. People who are going to contribute to our culture and our society. Not murderers and not rapists. If this doesn't wake people the hell up, nothing will. Nothing will. The same Kamala Harris. And we had a first-hand victim who refused to bring charges against pedophiles as a DA. Who molested these young teenagers. She wouldn't bring charges. The prior DA, who she lied about, she raised all kinds of money, who she got thrown out of office in San Francisco, he pulled the cases together, he was ready to prosecute, and all the rest. She defeats him. She rejects the cases. They're scratching at her door as district attorney. These poor kids and their parents and their lawyers, please, prosecute these pedophiles. She wouldn't meet with them. She wouldn't help them. And then she becomes attorney general, and they said, please give us the files that the prior district attorney put together, so at least we can bring civil cases. She didn't give them the files. She didn't give them the time of day. She never responded to them. That's why. That's the real Kamala Harris. Where are the 325,000 children? The unaccompanied children that have been brought into this country over the open border by the terrorist drug cartels. Where are they? They're in our country somewhere. Where the hell are they? Ask Kamala. What about the hundreds of thousands of women sold into sex slavery? Mostly brown and black and yellow women. Where are they? Where are they? Who are they? We don't know. Do these people in this administration seem to give a damn about women sold into sex slavery when they keep talking abortion, abortion, abortion? Got it. You like abortion. Where are these women right now? We don't know. Where are these children right now? We don't know. The administration's lost track of all of them. What? What? Women's rights, children's rights? We have more slavery going on in this country right now since the end of the Civil War. Do you understand that? Do you ever hear anybody talk about this but me? Do you hear women's groups talk about this? These are black women, brown women, yellow women, of course, white women, but a vast majority are minorities. Do you ever hear minority groups talk about this? When's the last time a minority group spoke out about this? We hear about, there's racism in America. Excuse me, it's worse. There's slavery in America. There's slavery of women of color in America, of minorities in America. Why? Because it's under a Democrat regime? Why? Because it's under Kamala Harris's eyes, her eyeballs. She sees it. She knows it. She doesn't say a damn thing about it. So it's okay? No, it's not okay. No, it's not okay. Where are these kids? No, it's not okay. You know, there are Democrat presidents I've liked in the past, believe it or not. None of the modern ones, that's for sure. I didn't always agree with his policies as I've read them historically, but Harry Truman was a great president. Not in every respect, but several respects. A real Midwesterner from Missouri. Kind of a sort of liberal, but not always. The left hates him because he dropped 2 atomic bombs on Japan to end the war, which needed to be done. But he had a little plaque on his desk. You know what the plaque said on his desk, Mr. Producer? The buck stops here. The buck stops here. Not phony partisan legislation that was never bipartisan. Not so-called immigration, security legislation that was about amnesty. For Kamala Harris, the buck never stops with her. Same with Biden. It's Netanyahu's fault, it's Trump's fault, it's Putin's fault, it's the fault of the American people. It's never their fault. This is Kamala Harris's record. No wonder they don't want you calling her border czar after they called her border czar. And she's running down there for a photo op. So the best Kamala Harris can do for women sold into sex slavery, for missing 325,000 children, many of whom are no doubt in child porno films, and so it's disgusting. The best she can do with 700,000 convicted criminals and criminals being charged. 15,811 sexual assault convictions. 13,099 convicted murderers are in our country, wandering our streets. Is get a photo op and blame Trump. And now she wants a promotion. She wants to be president. Now, ladies and gentlemen, maybe she did work at McDonald's. But as far as I'm concerned, she's not even qualified to work at McDonald's. I know people who work at McDonald's. They're good people. They tell the truth. They break their ass. They get paid minimum money. And they're still polite. And they still try and serve the customer. I don't see that as being Kamala Harris. She's a climber. She's a Marxist Islamist to the left of Bernie Sanders. Her own words from 2019, 2020 and before. When she's caught, she lies. And she doesn't want to get caught. So she bobs and weaves, rope-a-dope, as I've been saying for months. This is the person you want in the Oval Office? A nation that had presidents like George Washington and Thomas Jefferson? A nation that's had presidents like Abraham Lincoln? A nation that's had presidents like Ronald Reagan? A nation that's had presidents? Yes, like Donald Trump? Are you serious, America? She has 50% support? She's an economic illiterate? She can't even complete sentences or thoughts? She says she's a capitalist when she's a socialist? She blames companies, gouging. Well, what happened 4 years ago when there wasn't gouging?